we all know what 2 more for LeBron means. That means 6 championships for LeBron, and that means the GOAT debate gets kicked into a place I can't even fathom. Let me just refer to that as talk show hosts' nirvana. Nothing could be better than that, because basketball is more popular than golf, and LeBron James is one of 2 athletes in the world right now chasing GOAT status and chasing a ghost to get there. I will explain. Tiger Woods is doing the same thing. Tiger Woods has won 15 career majors. And there are people who will say Tiger Woods is not the greatest player in the world unless he catches Jack Nicklaus at 18. And there are people, of course, who will say LeBron James is not the greatest basketball player until and unless he catches Michael Jordan at 6. These are, as far as I can think of, the only sports where that is relevant right now. And let me explain, just going through a bunch of them off the top of my head. You might think Serena Williams. Here's why I do not put Serena Williams in this category, despite the fact that she is still chasing the record for most career slams. It is my opinion, and I think the opinion of most people who follow the sport and care about it, that Serena Williams is already the greatest player in the history of women's tennis, whether she gets that record or not. I don't think there's much debate about that. So I don't believe she's chasing a ghost. Yes, she's chasing a record, but I believe she is the GOAT, whether she gets there or not. Men's tennis. You have 3 players. They're not chasing ghosts. They're not chasing Rod Laver or Pete Sampras or John McEnroe. They're fighting it out against each other. When they're all done, one of the 3 of them will be the greatest player of all time. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. One of the 3 of them will emerge as the greatest of all time. They're not chasing ghosts. Go through some of the other sports. Tom Brady, I believe, already has staked his claim to being the greatest of all time. He's not chasing anything. Patrick Mahomes, you might argue, is chasing him, but that's so far away that it's much too soon to even have the conversation. What other sports haven't we gotten to? Baseball, Mike Trout. Mike Trout has got to be a decade away from that conversation. Yes, he's chasing it, but he's a long way away from that conversation being germane. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the significance of a 6th championship for LeBron is almost impossible to put into words. It would be the most, I think, significant milestone that any player could currently reach that feels within reach. Again, Mike Trout, check back with me on that one. 6 or 7 years from now, we can have the conversation. But it feels to me like the Lakers are now set up to be in a position to win 2 more championships in the next 3 years. I asked Kendrick Perkins and I asked Jay Williams on Get Up this morning. They're locked into at least 3 more years together. How many do they win? And both of them, both Jay Will and Kendrick Perkins, said you have to figure at least 2. 2 is the magic number. So you can cast your vote on my Twitter page, again, at ESPN Greeny. Let me know what you think. We'll keep track of that as we continue with the program here. I can also mention a new sponsorship that we have. When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing has personalized tools and insights to help you find answers. Get started at merrilledge.com/withinreach. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Okay. Let's bring Brian Windhorst into the conversation and see what he thinks of it all. He's on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. He hosts the Hoop Collective podcast and is, of course, one of our best and my favorite NBA analysts. Windy, that's sort of the setup here. With the re-signing today of Anthony Davis and the extension the other day to LeBron, if you were to make a wager right now, as they are locked in for at least the next 3 seasons together, how many titles do you think is a safe bet they will put together in the next 3 years?
Can I take a quick diversion to that golf thing,
Sure.
comparing to Tiger to LeBron? One of the things that Jack Nicklaus has on his resume that makes his status so incredible is, in addition to the 18 majors, I believe he has 17 runners-up in majors.
Yes.
Which establishes him as the greatest major player of all time because he has so many. That is seen as a burnishment to his resume. But LeBron, who is 4-6 in finals, those 6 losses are not seen as burnishing it. Those are seen as negative. And even if he does win 2 more, I think the people who defend Jordan will say, well, Jordan was 6-0 and LeBron was 6-6 or 6-7 or 6-8 or whatever it is. It's interesting to me that LeBron sort of gets penalized in his sport, I feel, whereas Whereas Jack, I don't think at all. I think it helps him.
Can I just say
the
something
Lakers-
quickly about that? You're
Yeah,
so
please.
right. I thoroughly agree. People tried to do the same thing with Brady when they said, well, look, Montana was 4-0 in Super Bowls and Bradshaw was 4-0 and Brady, I believe, was 4-2 at the point that he won his fifth, whatever it is. And I always say, the only way that 4-0 in the Super Bowl is better than 4-2 in the Super Bowl is if you only played 4 years. Otherwise, you are now penalizing someone for winning playoff games. It is as though Joe Montana losing the NFC Championship game to the Giants and Jeff Hostetler was better for his legacy than if he had won that game and made it to the Super Bowl and lost. To exactly your point, for LeBron James, making it to the finals is better than not making it to the finals. So I completely agree with you. I want to add to your point. Windy, back to you.
So LeBron has talked about this vaguely. I mean, he's never going to take a shot at the king, but he's talked about how he feels like that he has been available for his teammates is something that he feels is a strong pillar in his career. And I think he's codedly talking about, listen, I've picked myself up off of terrible losses and come back. I've gone to the finals 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row, brought myself back. Whereas Jordan, and certainly we saw in The Last Dance that it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but Jordan did have to yield a couple of times. And had he not yielded, he would have more than 6 and have more than 6 finals. But I do think LeBron feels like that should be credited for him. And I don't care what he wants to say publicly. I know that he wants that mantle. I don't know if he thinks he can get there, and I think that's why he'll stop ever short of announcing that that is his ultimate goal, because he doesn't want to be cut off for not getting there, but he wants it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.